Belgium wasn't hit by coronavirus as much as it was pummeled by it. In both the first and second waves, the country had one of the highest infection and death rates, not just in Europe, but the world. And there are a few factors at play there, one of them being the way the country tallies its deaths, which includes suspected COVID deaths in nursing homes. Also, this is a very densely populated country, especially in Brussels, which makes it very easy for the virus to spread. Now, in the first wave, the government was very quick to shut everything down. That happened in mid-March, and things remained closed for more than 2 months. And then Belgians had a rather carefree summer, which proved to be the country's downfall when autumn rolled around. Hospitals were on the verge of collapse in November when nearly all of the ICU beds were occupied. Patients were being transferred across the border to Germany for treatment, and health staff who tested positive were being asked to continue working. So it was a very dire situation. Besides the emotional impact, the economic fallout from 2 lockdowns is immense. Despite government support for businesses and workers, the real GDP growth is forecast to fall nearly 9% in 2020 before rebounding 6.5% in 2021. The other big story out of Europe this year has, of course, been Brexit. Negotiators spent the better part of the year trying to thrash out the most difficult parts of that deal over the level playing field, fishing access, and governance. But perhaps the more positive other story of the year is the green transition. Although even this has been linked to the pandemic because the bloc's $2.2 trillion recovery fund and next long-term budget have earmarked 30% of funding for green projects. So things like renewable energy generation, renovating old buildings, and deploying electric vehicle charging stations across Europe. The EU has set this very ambitious target of being climate neutral by 2050, and this is at the heart of the European Green Deal, which will require hundreds of billions of dollars in investment to transform European economies and industries, turning them green. A number of proposals on how to get there have been brought forward in the past year. Brussels has proposed rules around what will constitute a green investment, and it's considering labeling polluting activities as unsustainable as a way to channel money into environmentally friendly projects. Now, the bloc is also increasing its 2030 reduction target for greenhouse gas emissions, which is meeting with some resistance from the likes of Hungary and Poland, which are still quite reliant on coal. Nearly 80% of Poland's electricity comes from heavily polluting coal plants, but Brussels really sees this green transition as its golden ticket to the future, one which will make European economies more competitive, one which will create more jobs, and one which will make Europe the global leader in tackling climate change.